There's actually a thing called soil. It's like a show.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
We were talking about this and that. He wasn't a part of it, I guess. That's so funny. I gotta play this out. Ready? Does somebody come in?
Nope.
1, 2.
guess when you're Griffin, we take 2 times on the phone.
Yeah. We do what we got to do.
On the pump?
On the pump, not this.
Not this.
Again, second ending is valid.
Yes.
I'm on one.
Very nice, very nice.
Very nasty.
Got the horse right here. It's going to follow there.
Okay, so we take the optional to 25, then we do AIDA.
Right. And then I'll make a determination at some point if we go back to 25 or not. I'll be like this if we go back to 25. Okay.
All right. So we do have the one repeat to 76 in AIDA. Then the second ending will be looking for you.
Yeah, we may, if I do that, we'll take this first ending again. If I go like that, we go back to pump the circumstance. One,
And if you go like that,
If we had to.
Good afternoon. Please rise for the procession of the graduates.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Catherine Womack, Associate Dean of Student Affairs and Admissions. It is my great pleasure to open the University of Tennessee Health Science Center College of Medicine graduation ceremony. We are delighted to have the families and friends of our graduating class of 2023 as our honored guests today. Thank you for joining us in person and virtually. Before beginning, I have a few housekeeping chores. First, please take a moment to locate the nearest exit. We ask that everyone silence their cell phones and other portable devices. Please review your program. You will find the names listed for the College of Medicine honorees. The College of Medicine held an awards ceremony last evening to celebrate the awardees who were selected by peers and faculty. Today, we are fortunate to have Dr. Randy Nelson lead us in the national anthem. Please stand for our national anthem. In keeping with your own beliefs and traditions, please feel free to remove your cap.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave truth to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That's right. Please be seated. It's so wonderful that so many of you have been able to join us today in person and virtually to celebrate this great and momentous occasion in the lives of our graduates. I want to thank our president, Randy Boyd, Chancellor, Dr. Peter Buckley, as well as Vice Chancellor of Academic, Faculty, and Student Affairs, Dr. Cindy Russell, and our Dean of the College of Medicine Chattanooga, Dr. James Haynes, for joining us today. I would also like to thank the other faculty and administrators on the stage today for their contributions. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium the University of Tennessee President, Randy Boyd.
Thank you. Well, on behalf of the University of Tennessee system, with 5 campuses across the state and over 320,000 alumni, I'm here to say congratulations to all of you on this momentous day, this great accomplishment. It's also an honor to be with you here today. I'm particularly excited about this particular graduation because you see, about 9 days ago, I had knee surgery on my left knee. I'm a marathon runner, and my doctor said it's more than likely that you're going to have surgery on your right knee in a few years. So I'm thinking maybe a little bit later I might be shaking the hand of my next surgeon. So I'm looking forward to saying hello to you here shortly. But seriously, you can get a lot of advice today, but your most important task for today, the most important advice that I can give you now, you can use in the next hour. You've got a lot of things to do. You've got to come across the stage, get hooded, not trip, get your diploma and walk off and do all that elegantly. The most important thing, though, is after the ceremony is over, thank those people that helped you accomplish this great feat. You've had a lot of family and friends that helped you with this, and they're mostly, I'm sure, in the room today. So make a special effort to say thank you to all those people that help you get to where you're at today. Well, you're in good luck because this isn't my first commencement speech. My first one was really long and really boring. I know that because a friend of mine came up to me and said, "Wow, Randy, that was long and so boring." But fortunately, he gave me some good advice. He said to do 3 things. 1, just tell stories so you're not boring. 2nd, it's helpful if the story has a point. It doesn't have to, but it's kind of just useful if it actually has a point. And 3rd, most importantly, remember, nobody actually came to hear you talk. So be really short. So I'm just going to tell you one story. It does have a point, and the point is believe in serendipity. So here's the story. It is a personal story. So before running marathons, I used to try to climb mountains. And I had this goal of climbing the highest mountains on every continent. Turns out the highest mountain in South America is a mountain called Aconcagua in Argentina. So I go down in January, which is their summer, to climb this mountain. It's 22,000 feet. It takes about 10 days to get to the top. After about the 8th day, we started having some really bad weather set in. We're already at almost 20,000 feet of this 22,000 foot mountain, so we could see the top. We were so close. But on that 8th day, a big storm came in. The temperature was negative 40 degrees plus a 40-mile-per-hour wind. It was pretty miserable. We're trying to decide what to do. And the next morning, or dark and early in the morning, 2 climbers that had tried to summit that night were coming back down. One of them had pulmonary edema. The other one had severe frostbite. We found out a few days later he had all the toes removed on one foot and the whole other foot completely removed. And I think we made the right call. We decided, I had always promised my wife if it got really dicey, I would come down. So we did, and went back down to this little town of Mendoza, which, as ugly as it was, as terrible it was, on the top of the mountain, in the little town of Mendoza, it was 90 degrees and sunny in the peak of their summer. And this is the wine growing area of Argentina. And so you do what most people do in that area. We started touring wineries. And so I spent the next 2 days touring wineries and falling in love with the wine and the people and the culture. and brought my wife down the next year. She did likewise, and we ended up deciding to buy a winery. So now we have a winery 15 years later, make Malbec and Tempranillo, in case you're wondering. So you probably want to know, what's the point to the story? The point is, remember the moral, believe in serendipity. So I went down to actually touch this cold, barren rock. But in the end, I ended up with this winery that I've been able to enjoy for 15 years and can pass on to my children. And I'm finding life is like that a lot. A lot of times you set out to do one thing, but you actually end up with something that's even far more valuable, more meaningful than what you set out to accomplish. And that's the definition of serendipity. Something unexpected that's better than what you set out to do. And I've been finding also in life, and since then, I do this every morning, in fact, either when I'm waking up in bed or when I sit down and have my first cup of coffee, I'll think about my day ahead. I'll think about all the activities that I've got planned for that day. And then I'll think, I wonder what piece of serendipity is going to come my way today. What thing that I wasn't expecting that's going to come along. And I find when you expect serendipity, you'll find it. If you wake up every day thinking, I've got bad luck, bad things always happen to me, probably it will. But if you wake up every day thinking something unexpected is going to happen and you look for it, you'll probably find it. Maybe a chance meeting with a new person that becomes a friend. It's hard to estimate, but if you look for it, you'll be able to find it. So, in conclusion, expect serendipity. And by the way, if any of you are over 21, which I think all of you are, and you'd like to indulge in our wine, look for it at the wine store under the label serendipity. Just one other closing comment. So, while this is a big day for you, you are also part of something even bigger. This year, more than 8,484 UT students across the state will graduate and become University of Tennessee alumni. And 838 of those are graduating from the UT Health Science Center during the next couple of days during commencements. That's a big deal and something to be really proud of. There are literally hundreds of thousands of UT alumni that have come before you, and there will be hundreds of thousands of more that will come after you. They have individually and collectively made an incredible impact in the community, in their state, and the world. So as new alums, I'd like to leave you with just 3 challenges. First, live a life that leaves the world a better place than you found it. Second, live a life that honors the UT Health Science traditions and makes former alumni proud. And finally, third, live a life that will inspire future generations that will follow you. Again, congratulations on this great accomplishment, and thank you for letting me be with you today.
Thank you, President Boyd. It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Scott Strom. Dr. Strom is the Robert Kaplan Executive Dean and Vice Chancellor for Clinical Affairs for the University of Tennessee Health Science Center, College of Medicine, and we welcome him as he presides over this ceremony.
Wow, class of 2023. Holy simoles. You made it. It's really so exciting. I'd like you first to turn around, stand up, and thank your parents and grandparents with a round of applause. And now I would ask our parents, grandparents, loved ones, brothers, sisters, significant others, to join me in giving a hearty round of congratulations to the class of 2023. Today's a big day. Your loved ones are going to be walking across this stage. If you want to come up with your cell phone and get close, please do it, okay? You need a really nice picture so you can see. You'll remember it for the rest of your life. Just line up so that we can do that. I don't want you to miss it, so nobody be shy. President Boyd, Chancellor Buckley, members of the faculty, staff, it's really a privilege for me to be here today. In fact, when it comes to mechanical things, I'm completely incompetent. In fact, I think I have a genetic predisposition for this type of incompetence. As a child, my family consistently had problems with our washing machine. Now y'all are thinking, what's he talking about? I'll get there. One day my mom went to do a load of laundry and the machine wouldn't start. My dad looked at the machine and immediately decided we needed a new washer. The following week, a representative from the Sears Service Department came to our house and installed our new state-of-the-art utility. Unfortunately, when he plugged it in, our shining new washing machine didn't even bother to stir. The man asked us where our fuse box was located, and soon after emerged with a smile on his face. Needless to say, our washer started beautifully after he had reset the circuit breaker. This was not an isolated incident. In my family, we consistently clogged our garbage disposal in the sink. My mom, who bore primary responsibility for all things mechanical in our house, handled this problem by inserting the handle of a broom into the disposal and turning the blades until they were no longer stuck. A technique which works beautifully. As a resident, my wife and I had classmates over for supper at our condominium and the disposal clogged as I was cleaning up. Never to fear, I quickly modified Mom's technique, pulling out the trusty wrench under the sink and inserting it into the disposal to turn the blades. All the wonder why they could not design a better system for people with large hands. Well, while we're laughing, one of my friends showed me that this wrench actually fit into the area under the disposal, which allowed you to get it started without ever putting your hands in the sink. Why am I relaying these anecdotes to you today? A day when you transition from medical student learners to resident learners. It is my way of reinforcing the idea that we are all human. It is my way of telling you that as humans, you will make mistakes, and that sometimes those mistakes will negatively impact patient outcomes. It's my way of telling you to learn from those mistakes so that you can grow. It's my way of telling you to forgive yourself when you make those mistakes. It is also my way of telling you that as physician learners, you will face an explosion of information that will literally be impossible to grasp in its entirety. In fact, in preparation for this moment, I asked ChatGPT to write me a graduation speech. In the input box, I entered my position, the name of the event, and when I hit the return button, out came a talk. It was actually a pretty good generic talk. What it lacked was our history. It lacked the excitement of seeing you that first day of school. It lacked the shared joy of meeting your friends and families at the white coat ceremony. It lacked the pride that grew in our entire leadership team as we watched your class not just tackle the challenges of COVID-19, but grow as physicians and people in the face of this existential threat. That's not my good side. It also lacked the sentiments we felt watching your class advocating for your patients in the face of adversity. It lacked the funny moments. It lacked the sad moments. It lacked humanism. It simply lacked. With the explosion of new knowledge, there is talk that physicians may not be needed, or at least may be partially replaced in some specialties. Already, there are artificial intelligence programs that can analyze radiographs and render pathologic diagnosis with an expanded breadth and depth of capabilities sure to follow. This expansion of knowledge has a tremendous upside potential: improved diagnostic accuracy, drugs specifically targeted to treat an individual patient's disease in the context of their protein expression profile, and the potential to improve access to care. Well, these advances enhance our ability to incorporate new knowledge into the practice of medicine. They are not the practice of medicine. They are not physicians. They will not be there to take that call in the middle of the night from a scared patient. They will not be there to share in the treatment successes and failures. They will not be there holding the hand of your patient during their final moments. So while I want you to always check the fuse box and to read the instructions for fixing the garbage disposal, by constantly incorporating new ideas and knowledge into your practice, my profound hope for you today is that you retain and grow the humanism that makes each of you a physician. I wish you all the very best of luck, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you.
Thank you, Dean Strom. It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Jeff Warren. Dr. Warren serves our city as an elected member of our city council and previously served on the Memphis City Council School Board. He is a practicing family medicine physician. Welcome, Dr. Warren.
Good afternoon, parents, graduates, faculty, and friends. I'm honored to be able to speak to the graduating class, our COVID-19 student warriors. This brave group, forged by the fire of infectious disease, on this their final day as medical students. After this day, you will be known as our physician colleagues. And there's a good chance right now that every one of you has a lot more basic medical knowledge than most of us on the stage, present company included. But what you're missing is experience. And that's what your residencies will give you the opportunity to obtain. Think about this. Just because your knowledge is more current than mine doesn't necessarily make it more useful. Combining your cutting-edge knowledge with the long heritage of our profession, I think, is the best prescription for your practice in the future. I'd like to share with you a few guidelines that I found helpful in my career and my life for dealing with colleagues and treating patients and keeping me happy. I cannot take credit for these precepts, but I've tried to follow them in my professional and personal life, and I attribute them to Sir William Osler, who was the father of postgraduate medical education in our Western world. So as you head out into your residency programs, you may be surprised to find that there are clashes among physician colleagues. And Osler has something to say about this, and I quote, "It is the duty of the older doctor to look on the younger one who settles near them, not as a rival," end quote. When I was doing my emergency medicine residency in New York, we had a really interesting case of a patient with a pericardial effusion of unknown origin. Our team, as internists are prone to do, had spent hours and hours discussing the many possibilities of the cause of this. And we got a new attending who comes on after our old attending goes off rounds. And that attending comes in and immediately begins to pimp my fellow intern, saying, "I heard about Mary on the way down on an airplane coming back to New York, and I know more about her than you do." Well, one of the other residents on the service said, excuse me, doc, that's just not the case. We've been talking about this patient for hours. And the chairman of the department, who was the new attending, said, shut up. Well, that resident said, no, you're wrong. I'm not going to shut up. And then he said, well, leave rounds. And he said, well, you can tell me to do that, but I won't shut up, particularly when you're wrong about this. Well, evidently, unbeknownst to me, that particular attending had been a known bully and had all the people in his department and everyone who'd ever rounded with him scared because he bullied people on rounds. Well, that story went across the hospital pretty rapidly. And interestingly, the next day when that attending came back to our rounds, he was a great teacher. He was kind, he didn't bully anybody, and we all learned a lot. So I ask you to remember when you're out there as an intern or a resident, remember that your intern, your junior resident, your student may actually be smarter than you are and know something that he can teach you or she can teach you. Be kind to them, and they'll help you take better care of your patients. Now, as an intern, you're going to be really busy, and it's going to be easy to get frustrated and overworked and take it out on your colleagues. Remember these words from Osler when that happens, quote, let not your ear hear the sound of your voice raised in unkind criticism or ridicule or condemnation of a fellow physician, end quote. What we do every day in our efforts to take care of our patients and lead our staffs requires that we see our colleagues and our employees as comrades in our battle for healthier lives for our patients. It's not just the stress of overwork that causes problems, however, between colleagues. Many of the problems come between physicians by what patients have to say and what they tell you about your colleagues. Here, I have some Osler advice for you, and I wholeheartedly recommend that you do this, particularly in your residencies. From the day you begin practice, never under any circumstances listen to a tale told to the detriment of a fellow physician. In your practice, you'll be giving patients instructions all the time, and you will be shocked when they come back and tell you what you thought you said to them. So just imagine when they say what another doctor says. So if you weren't there to hear it, and it sounds crazy, just don't believe it. Even if that doctor did make a mistake, keep in mind you're going to make some mistakes. Humility is incredibly important to becoming a wise physician. Osler says it well. Quote, errors in judgment must occur in the practice of an art which consists largely of balancing probabilities. Now, I've told my students that Osler said, never make a definitive diagnosis. Well, in preparing for this speech, I found myself in error. He didn't say that. What he actually said was, quote, probability is the rule of life. Never make a positive diagnosis, end quote. Because when you close the door to other possibilities, you could miss an actual correct diagnosis because you have so much invested in your own thought process. Always remain open to the possibility you could be incorrect. As a surgical intern at Columbia, we were just beginning, as in the dark ages, to use hyperalimentation on people whose bowel function was no longer working. My first hyperalimentation patient was named Hector, and he had a police guard. And I asked the guard why he was there, and the guard said, well, he's a heroin addict, and he shot a cop. And they shot at a cop, and the cop shot him, and he's here because we shot him in the abdomen, and he's being taken care of. So I walked in and met the patient and asked the patient, and you guys who've worked at Region 1 know the story you're probably going to hear is the patient said, oh, no, I was with my wife. I was holding my 3-year-old daughter in my arms, and he shot me for no reason. Well, okay. So about 3 months later, I'm on the service again, and Hector is just now getting well, beginning to feed him. And I go in and see him for the first few days, and I think the third day I'm there, I walk in the room, and he says, hey, Doc, you notice anything different? And I looked at his abdomen, and I checked his line, I looked him over, and I couldn't find anything. I said, no, what's going on? He goes, the cop is gone. I said, the cop's gone? What happened? He said, well, they arrested him for shooting me. Well, evidently, the cop was strung out on PCP and actually shot him holding his 3-year-old daughter in his arms because he was a racist who just didn't like the fact that his light-skinned wife was with him. So always remember that you think you know what's going on. You don't. You have to always remember and remain dubious. Your assumptions can always be wrong. So Osler says it better than this. Humility comes not only with the reverence for the truth, but also with the proper estimation of the difficulties encountered in our search for it, end quote. The longer I've been in practice, and I can guarantee people on the stage will tell you the same thing, it's true. Now, the main thing about Oslerian medicine is a concept called equanimitas, which means imperturbability. It also means kindness and compassion and concern for your patients. But in Osler's word, imperturbability means coolness and presence of mind under all circumstances, calmness amidst the storm, clearness of judgment in moments of grave peril. It's the quality that's most appreciated by patients, though most often misunderstood by them. And the physician who has the misfortune to be without it, who betrays indecision and worry and shows they're flustered and flurried in ordinary emergencies, rapidly loses the confidence of their patients. This concept brings to mind an incident I had when I was attending a reunion beach party as a young doctor. Not too long after getting at the party, I was called to the beach. Someone had injured themselves diving into the sand. I met this young man who told me that he hit his head diving in and immediately felt a shock going down to his toes and now had horrible pain in his shoulder. Well, I immediately looked around and asked a guest to get the centerboard from the small sailboat, got the guy positioned in the water on the sailboat, stabilized his neck, and pulled him to where I kept most of his body in the cool water to prevent shock, and called 911. And I held him there waiting on the ambulance to come. Well, other party guests were accosting me, telling me to let the guy up. They wanted to hang out with their friend and make sure he was okay. I remained calm. I rode with him to the hospital. The ambulance crew was a little startled to find themselves upgraded to a level 1 trauma when they gave the history as I gave them to the hospital. And then as we pulled into the emergency department, the words that you always want to hear as a doctor, the patient loudly exclaimed, "My neck is broken, my doctor's drunk." Well, he was right about one thing. His neck was broken. And I'd remained calm, however, and not allowed him to damage himself further. And after 3 months in a Yale orthosis, he was able to return to his occupation as a massage therapist, obviously using his shoulder. And I got Christmas cards from him as long as he knew where my address was. So far, in sort of a little summary, what has Osler told us? Give each other the benefit of a doubt. Don't believe what patients say about other doctors. Be humble in our diagnosis and develop equanimitas. But what does he say is the most important thing, the word that's going to get you your success? It's a little word. Quote, "Though a little one, the master word looms large in meaning, and that word is work," end quote. In my day at Duke, we had a saying about the problem with every other night call. And I'm sure you know what it is. On every other night call, you miss half the good patients. No? Well, at the beginning of this talk, I said the one thing you were missing in your education was experience. Your residency will offer you the opportunity to see much more than you ever will in your day-to-day practice and afterwards. Take advantage of the opportunity to work hard and to see much. Don't worry about tomorrow or next week's call or your next rotation. They'll get there soon enough. Just do your day's work thoroughly and well, and you'll sleep soundly until they wake you up. Just be ready for the next day's challenges. At this point, you'll be surprised to hear me tell you that Osler didn't get everything right. As some of you may know, I'm still a practicing family physician. I go to the hospital, I go to nursing homes, I have office practice, and this is my work and I love my job. But what does Osler have to say to do with this that's in error? Well, in his words, my second fixed idea is the uselessness of man above 60 years of age and the incalculable benefit it would be in commercial, political, and professional life if, as a matter of course, men stop working at this age, end quote. Well, I'm 67. I have no current plans to stop working, but after thanking Sarah Shore for inviting me, I will stop talking. Congratulations, graduates. Go far, work hard, Appreciate and treat your patients with equanimity, and then come back to Memphis where we need you. As Osler might have said, Godspeed to you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Warren. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Dean Strom back to the podium to introduce the candidates. And I think we're going to have to find that.
Dr. Womack. Yeah, can I have yours? Thank you.
I'll take this one. Thank you.
Will the candidates please rise? Chancellor Buckley, I have the honor of presenting for the confirmation of the degree of Doctor of Medicine the students who have fulfilled the academic and clinical requirements and standards set forth by the faculty of the college and are now ready to apply their skills for the chair of their patients.
I accept the confirmation of these candidates and welcome you to this ancient and honorable company of scholars and physicians, and express the hope and challenge that your work will promote the health and well-being of people, and the challenge that you will be a credit to this respected profession. By the authority of the State of Tennessee, invested in the Board of Trustees of the University of Tennessee, and by them delegated to me, I do, upon the nomination of the faculty, grant you the degree to which you've been presented and confer on you all the honors, rights, and privileges appertaining. It gives me and all of us at our institution great joy and pride to present you as the graduating class of University of Tennessee College of Medicine for May 2023. Congratulations to each and every one of you. You're standing quiet, but I think you can also make a lot of noise as well. Please feel free to make noise. Parents, again, give our colleagues a round of applause. Great, thank you.
You may be seated. Dr. Ryan Sheehy and Dr. Jonathan Fender are ushering the students to receive their hoods and diplomas. Please bring the first group of students forward. Dr. Paige Kessler-Johnson will be reading the names of our graduates.
I know you all want to cheer very loudly. I would just ask that so every student's name can be heard today, or excuse me, medical doctor's name can be heard today, that you make your cheering loud but brief. Please welcome Dr. Oluwaseyi Adeleye. Dr. Dylan Wren Bravo Alexander. Dr. Garrett Jeffrey Allen. Dr. Johann Samuel Anatharaj. Dr. Catherine Daryl Jean Anderson Quinones. Dr. Uchenna Fredeline Ananobi. Dr. Jesse Roger Armstrong. Dr. Johnny Brooke Lynn Armstrong. Dr. Elizabeth Jordan Austin. Dr. Michael Barretts. Dr. Sarah Evelyn Baxley. Dr. Aram Mejnud. Dr. Ian Craig Benny. Dr. Jessica Lynn Bertram. Dr. Andrew Thomas Beal. Dr. Caleb Patrick Blackburn. Dr. Alexander Freeman Bowers. Dr. Nicole Margaret Bracewell. Dr. Bobby Deshawn Bradley. Dr. Josiah Philip Brandt. Dr. Lane Beatrice Brandt. Dr. Amanda Lund Brown. Dr. Michaela Nicole Burgess. Dr. Robert Ethan Burks. Dr. Anna Hendricks Burrows. Dr. Savannah Lynn Bush. Dr. Walker Browse Bussy Spencer. Dr. Naylan Calonis. Dr. Randy Scott Carpenter. Dr. Christopher Daniel Castello. Dr. Tracy Cherian. Dr. Christopher John Seeker. Dr. Philip Crawford. Dr. Elizabeth Walton Crowder. Dr. Nicholas Alonso Cummins. Dr. Tina Hong Dow. Dr. Anwish Dash. Dr. Andrew Manuel de Jesus. Dr. John Joseph Delaney V. Dr. Melissa Rose Delaney. Dr. David DeMayo. Dr. Anna Margaret Denson. Dr. Teresa Thongvi Den. Dr. Ruth Catherine Dunn. Dr. Jackson Baker Eber. Dr. Rachel Elizabeth Edge. Dr. Elizabeth Laudalina Eschen. Dr. Jihan Esmail. Dr. Evan Andrew Fenvis. I'm excited. Dr. Donald Lee Gaines III. Dr. Lee Pearson Gore. Dr. Aaron William Grayson. Dr. Benjamin Corey Greenberg. Dr. Emily Catherine Grimes. Dr. Jenny Ann Hamilton. Dr. John Baker Hammond. Dr. Christopher James Harper. Dr. Dilavon Aso Harami. Dr. Laura Whitfield Hayes. Dr. Matthew Brian Holloway. Dr. Edward James Hughes. Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Jordan. Dr. Arthi Joshi. Dr. Layla Iyad Jubril Jabber. Dr. William Elbert King III. Dr. Neetud Mary Kurian. Dr. Walker Sosha Laird. Dr. Jean Gerard Lamanilau. Dr. Damon Isaac Lawson. Dr. Olivia Catherine Lawson. Dr. Stephen J. Laxton. Dr. Kevin Chun-Ho Lee. Dr. Connor Breen Lenahan. Dr. Corey Lynn. Dr. Sonja Lipman. Dr. John Grant Little. Dr. Justin Allen Liu. Dr. Kelly Liu. Dr. Tiffany Taylor Liu. Dr. Tharun Malipeti. Dr. Pranay Reddy Manda. Dr. Lindley Tilden Matthews. Dr. Peyton Miles. Dr. Lindsay Aaron Miller. Dr. Grace Elizabeth McCarthy. Dr. Christopher Eduardo Montes Sabino. Dr. James Burkhalter Mitchum. Dr. Jacob Connard Mullins. Dr. Mayor Julia Musicante. Dr. Andrea Alandra Natera. Dr. Chad Alexander Nieri. Dr. Courtney Nicole O'Connor. Dr. Herman Howard Odens, Jr. Dr. Jasmine Morenike Agundape. Dr. Monica Taiwu Ogunshusi. Dr. Ugo Chinyere Raven Okachaku Wachaku. Dr. Nicole Sanford O'Malley. Dr. Chad Owens. Dr. Emily Ammon. Dr. Anthony Mack Paget. Dr. Sarah Parker. Dr. Akash Patel. Dr. Robert William Peterson. Dr. Madison Caroline Perchick. Dr. Aaron Michael Perry. Dr. Sarah Grace Lebovitz Perry. Dr. Anita Prashad. Dr. Sophie Adele Pilkington. Dr. Robert Reed Pitts IV. Dr. Joshua Vaughn Porter. Dr. Gary Wiley Price. Dr. Caroline Ann Rader. Dr. Thomas Isaac Rains. Dr. Niyati Rangnekar. Dr. Rosh Rao. Dr. May Rebecca Ray. Dr. Jordan Stephen Ritchie. Dr. Tucker John Roof. Dr. Brent Lee Russell. Dr. Michelle Ray Santoso. Dr. Adite Sathe. Dr. Brent Vincent Shekel. Dr. Elizabeth Pharisee Schneider. Dr. Rachel Ann Schultz. Dr. Laura Catherine Scott. Dr. Kenji Segura. Dr. Claire Ann Sentiles. Dr. Aditya Samir Shah. Dr. Aidan Marie Shea. Dr. Hamid Ali Khan Shrani. Dr. Sarah Catherine Shore. Dr. Christian Taylor Sidebottom. Dr. Abhishek Kumar Singh. Dr. Rishika Singh. Dr. Vidushi Sina. Dr. Allison Marie Stokes. Dr. Austin James Sturdivant. Dr. Andrew James Swella. Dr. David Michael Templeton. Dr. Jonathan Christian Thomas. Dr. Natasha Danielle Tillett. Dr. Sarada Mari Coley Tilton. Dr. Mario Ashraf Toma. Dr. Mary Elena Dominga Usada. Dr. Nathaniel Kenneth Van Kampen. Dr. Madeline Mackenzie Vincent. Dr. Caroline Elizabeth Wade. Dr. Lauren Elizabeth Wade. Dr. Charles Devin Waldruff. Dr. Janet G. Wong. Dr. Jacob Brian Whitman. Dr. Darren Savage Will. Dr. Patrick Joshua Williamson. Dr. Andrew Patton Wofford. Dr. Megan Elizabeth Woods. Dr. Rachel Ann Woods. Dr. Samantha Renee Ray. Dr. Andrew James Yochis. Dr. Allison Zinju Zong. Dr. Timothy Blackwell. Sorry, I'm going to announce his name. One of my students couldn't be here due to family members not being able to attend, and it is Dr. Charles Blue.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our promotion ceremony honoring our UTHSC College of Medicine graduates who are also U.S. military officers. Today, we are honored to recognize the following: Garrett Jeffrey Allen, U.S. Air Force; Alexander Freeman Bowers, U.S. Air Force; Donald Lee Gaines III, U.S. Navy; Lee Pearson Gore, U.S. Air Force; Aaron William Grayson, U.S. Army; Walker Sasha Laird, U.S. Navy; Abhishek Kumar Singh, U.S. Army; and Nathaniel Kenneth Van Campen, U.S. Air Force. Woohoo! Officiating at today's ceremony is Captain Michael C. Mossbrugger, who will be performing the penning and administering the oath. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as the official party ascends the dais.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Mike Mossbrugger. I'm the commanding officer of the Navy base in Millington, a few nautical miles upstream on the Mississippi River from here. I would like to thank the university for inviting me to administrate the ceremony to honor these officers for their achievement. I would also like to recognize the university for including this ceremony as part of their commencement exercises. The time and attention is appreciated. My father was a career Air Force officer, and my grandfathers both served in the Army during World War II, so it is great to have these three branches of our joint force represented before you. In the U.S. military services, personnel swear an oath when enlisting or being commissioned as an officer. It is also a tradition when an officer is promoted, they reaffirm that oath of office. What I would like all of you to take away from the words of the oath, which includes 4 distinct promises of honor, is that your country's military officers choose to live up to a high standard. I'm proud of all the students that are earning an advanced academic degree today. You have accomplished something that you set out to do that is truly difficult. In doing that, you are now more resilient against life difficulties that you won't get to choose. For these military officers, they not only accomplished this difficult milestone, they did it while adhering to military standards of eligibility, including smaller things like grooming standards and fitness standards, but also significant things like moral and ethical standards. I am very proud to be on the stage with these young people, the best and the brightest among our nation's citizens and servant leaders. What is going to happen next is I'm going to read the orders from the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., authorizing these officers to be promoted. The friends and families of the officers will change out the rank insignia on their uniforms. We'll have to be patient, as those little things can be tricky when you're on stage. Following that, I will lead them in reaffirming the oath of office. I'm going to lead the Army and Air Force officers in the oath, and then Ensign Gaines' father is going to lead the oath for him. It's always special when a family member is able to administer the oath so we can recognize multiple generations of service. Without further ado, I invite the friends and family to please come join us on the stage. Spread out, guys, a little bit. Spread out a little bit more. And now I invite those guests that are able to rise and stand as we promote these officers and administer the oath of office. Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting on the recommendation of the Secretary of the Air Force, has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, integrity, and abilities of Second Lieutenants Garrett Allen, Alexander Bowers, Lee Gore, Walker Laird, and Nathaniel Van Campen. In view of these special qualities and demonstrated potential to serve in the next higher grade, Second Lieutenants Garrett Allen, Alexander Bowers, Lee Gore, Walker Laird, and Nathaniel Van Campen are promoted to the grade of Captain, United States Air Force, effective 8 May 2023 by the order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Army, has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, integrity, and abilities of Second Lieutenants Aaron Grayson and Abhishek Singh. In view of these special qualities and demonstrated potential to serve in the higher grade, Second Lieutenants Aaron Grayson and Abhishek Singh are promoted to the grade of Captain, United States Army, effective 8 May 2023, by order of the Secretary of the Army. Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Navy, has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, integrity, and abilities of Ensign Donald Gaines. In view of these special qualities and demonstrated potential to serve in the higher grade, Ensign Donald Gaines is promoted to the grade of Lieutenant, United States Navy, effective 8 May 2023, by order of the Secretary of the Navy. Second Lieutenants, about face. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name, having been appointed to the rank of Captain. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations, shipmates.
Yeah. Lieutenant Gaines, front and center, please. Okay, son, about face. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Donald Gaines,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of
of which I'm about to enter.
of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Well done, guys.
You may be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce the president of our 2023 graduating class, Dr. Sarah Shore.
Dear fellow graduates, distinguished faculty, family, and friends, today is the day we have all been waiting for. We're finally graduating from medical school. Congratulations to each and every one of us on this amazing accomplishment. We've earned this moment. We've worked hard, studied long hours, and overcome countless obstacles over the past 4 years. During this time, you've also received countless emails and messages from me, so I think we're all happy to hear that this is the last one. I recently went on a cross-country road trip, which is just one of the many perks I'll miss about being a fourth year. While on my trip, I spent time hiking in stunning landscapes in multiple national parks. Oddly enough, I didn't miss the fluorescent lighting of the hospital, though. During particularly strenuous hikes, I found myself wishing that I had already made it to the top for 2 reasons. 1, so that my legs would stop burning, and 2, so that I could enjoy panoramic views while eating my snacks. I came to realize that as I focused on my internal struggle and on achieving my goal, I tended to neglect what was around me, the companions alongside of me, the beauty of the path itself, and the views from where my journey had taken me thus far. For many of us, medical school has felt like climbing a mountain. We started at the bottom, marveling at the peak, wondering how we would ever make it to the top. There were moments of doubt and uncertainty, times when we stumbled and fell, and days when we weren't sure we had what it takes to make it. But one thing is certain, we could not have made it to the top of the mountain without the love and support of those closest to us. When we felt overworked and overwhelmed, we turned to our friends and family for support. You reminded us of how much we are believed in, of how far we have come, and how capable we truly are. Thank you for celebrating our successes and picking us up when we stumbled. To our mentors, teachers, and advisors, thank y'all for showing us how you climbed your mountains and encouraging us to find our own way to climb ours. To each of you in the crowd and on Zoom today, we couldn't have made it without you, and we are grateful to you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for being our rocks. One of the things that got me through medical school was celebrating the little moments. In first year, hanging out with new classmates at trolley night after we survived our first month of class. Celebrating with my table mates when I didn't slice through a nerve and anatomy lab again. And devolving into sheer silliness after spending too many hours studying in the library. The end of our first year tested us with new obstacles as we were thrown into a global pandemic, and yet the importance of celebration grew. During our second year, we celebrated by rewarding ourselves with a walk outside in between Zoom classes, We celebrated by doing a little happy dance after scoring above average on a UWorld block. And we celebrated by uninstalling Anki after finally taking step 1. Yeah. During third year, we embarked on our clinical rotations, and celebration took on a different form. We celebrated as a team when any of us got an attendance question right during rounds. We celebrated when we scrubbed into surgery for the first time. Some of us may have celebrated when we scrubbed into surgery for the last time. And perhaps most memorably, we celebrated with our patients when they were healed and were able to finally go home. In fourth year, we celebrated after step 2 by, once again, uninstalling Anki. Yeah. We celebrated by calling our loved ones when we received our first interview invitation, and we celebrated by dancing the night away at Caduceus. Each year has brought about different occasions for celebration, but one celebration has remained the same. Every year, day in and day out, throughout all 4 years of medical school. Waking up to a message from our wonderful class secretary, Johnny. Johnny, where you at? Let's go. Wishing you happy birthday each year on your birthday in the class group me. The journey throughout medical school has been filled with little wins like these. But today, I encourage you to celebrate the big moments, the biggest moment, the tremendous, immense, monumental accomplishment that we have each been working towards, not only for the last 4 years, but long before that as well. I admit it, there will surely be more mountains ahead, but I encourage you all, today and in the future, to pause from the trail, take in the views, smell the flowers, look back in awe at how far you've come. Then look ahead and see how far you have yet to go, not with dread or fear, but with excitement for the journey ahead and gratitude for those that helped push you forward in your hardest moments. Today represents the peak of your lifelong hard work, discipline, and perseverance. So for now, let's celebrate. And congratulations on your incredible achievement. It's been an honor. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce Dr. Mukta Panda, who will lead our class in the Oath to Self-Care and Well-Being. Can y'all stand up?
Good afternoon and congratulations. Shortly you will be presenting and pledging the Hippocratic Oath, which is timeless. However, our healthcare system, its delivery and education occurs in large systems that are influenced by internal and external forces. This system calls for a partnership between each of you and their leaders to address physician burnout, loneliness, and promote a culture of well-being and professionalism. It requires an unashamed and unapologetic invitation to make self-care and team care a priority. Only then will we be able to provide the best care to our patients, advocate for them, and for our vocation. I would like you all to now rise and pledge the oath to self-care and well-being together, which is at the end of the program. We solemnly pledge, thank you, to embrace and promote the well-being of ourselves, our colleagues and the medical community, as part of our responsibility to the effective care of our patients, ourselves and in partnership with our healthcare organization. We will seek to develop and adhere to habits that promote and maintain humility. Meaning and wholeness of self in our work and interactions. We will be attuned to the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual needs of ourself and others. We will be attuned to the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual needs of ourselves and others. And share our practices of well-being for the benefits of our patients, our colleagues, and the advancement of healthcare. And share our practices of well-being for the benefits of our patients, our colleagues, and the advancement
advancement of healthcare.
We will commit to integration and balance in our professional and personal life.
We will commit to integration and balance in our professional and personal life,
and seek help when we feel we ourselves or our peers are overburdened, fatigued, or less compassionate.
and seek help when we feel we ourselves or peers are overburdened, fatigued, or less compassionate.
We will champion for a healthcare system that values well-being of its personnel,
We will champion for a healthcare system that values the well-being of its personnel,
uses best evidence for an institutional culture of wellness,
uses best evidence for an institutional culture of wellness,
and recognizes that in so promoting, the patients we care for are ultimately best served.
and recognizes that in so promoting the patients we care for are ultimately best served.
We will find the courage to be vulnerable and confront professional wrongdoings to the best of our ability.
We will find the courage to be vulnerable and confront professional wrongdoings to the best of our ability,
while at the same time showing compassion and respect for all members of the healthcare team.
while at the same time showing compassion and respect for all members of the healthcare team.
I make these promises of well-being to myself and to the vocation of medicine with my highest commitment.
I make these promises of well-being to myself and to the vocation of medicine with my highest commitment.
Thank you. Kindly remain standing for the pledge of the Hippocratic Oath led by Dr. Sarah Cross.
Good afternoon. Congratulations, graduates. If you could recite with me, we'll all do it together. I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I will give respect and gratitude to my deserving teachers. I will practice medicine with conscience and dignity. The health and life of my patient will be my first consideration. I will hold in confidence all that my patient confides in me. I will maintain the honor and the noble traditions of the medical profession. My colleagues will be as my family. I will not permit consideration of race, religion, nationality, party politics, or social standing to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. Even under threat, I will not use my knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity. These promises I make freely and upon my honor. Congratulations.
It is now my privilege to introduce Dr. Mike Calfee, who is the president of the Alumni Association and a 1995 graduate of the College of Medicine. Dr. Calfee.
It is actually her class, too. I graduated with Catherine, so. Just a few. As an alumnus of the College of Medicine and member of the Medicine Alumni Council, it is truly my honor to be here to address our newest graduates. Today, as you become a graduate of this outstanding institution, you join a family of more than 433,000 UT alumni who live in Tennessee, across the nation, and around the world. No matter where you go or what you do from this point forward, you will always be a graduate and representative of the University of Tennessee. You have now become lifelong stakeholders in the image and reputation of our great university. The University of Tennessee Alumni Association challenges you to be active in the programs and events sponsored by this campus, your college, and the Alumni Association. Your participation will benefit the university, and you will find personal and professional satisfaction through your involvement. You are a representative of this institution and have the ability to positively impact the opinions and actions of prospective students fellow alumni, community leaders, and state legislators. So become an advocate of the university. Consider investing in the future of the UT Health Science Center. Your support, no matter the amount, will strengthen the university and provide enhanced opportunities for those students who follow you. Keep us informed of your successes. These accomplishments are the best measures of the quality of your alma mater. Last year, thousands of UT alumni helped advance the university's mission and goals by attending events and programs, participating in alumni surveys and our online community, serving as volunteer leaders, and investing their financial support to areas throughout the university. I urge you to take advantage of your membership in the Alumni Association by staying engaged with your university and in touch with your classmates. It is now my distinct honor to induct you into the University of Tennessee Alumni Association. I extend best wishes on behalf of more than 433,000 proud fellow UT alumni. Congratulations.
I keep a drawer where I put nice notes. And I pull those notes out on days where I may not be having my best day, and I look at those notes. So I'm going to ask all of our graduates to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a second and to capture this moment. And I want you to now take this moment and I want you to put it in your special drawer so that you can remember this event, remember being surrounded by all of your family, your friends, your loved ones. Remember the feeling of accomplishment and the tremendous pride that we, your teachers, and all of your loved ones have in you. And feel free to pull out that note on days where maybe you're not having your best day. We're so proud of each of every one of you. We're so pleased that we were able to have this graduation in person and feel fortunate that many of your friends and family could be present. We've now come to the end of our program. Following the recessional, please stay seated until the ushers release you. Our students will all be taking a group photo, and I will join them for a selfie. If someone could take a selfie of me, that would be great. I think it's called an Ussie now, not a selfie. I learned that on Ted Lasso. After the photo, you will rejoin your graduates at the lower level. Thank you again for attending today's ceremony.